There he comes. All right, got it. Come on. Here. Come on. I'll have to take a break. Well, we won't show that. All right, guys, it's kind of miserable out here. I've been saying that a lot, but in reality, it's not bad. I kind of like it up here. We don't have many, you know, huge parasites or virus that are going to kill us all, but we do have winter, and that's sort of the transition we're heading into right now. So I'm out here at the sawmill today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that I do once a year that I haven't really touched on. And what that is, it is leveling the bed. And when I say the bed, I mean the steel pieces the log sits on. So the bed of the mill has to be adjusted at least once a year here. I do it a few more times, but at least one major readjustment. And that's because our freezing and thawing cycle that takes place here, and we're just about to enter the freezing cycle. So heading on over to the mill here with Coda at the watch. Coda's the dog, by the way. So we're here at the mill, and as you guys can see behind you, there's a log on it. And I'm going to take that log off here to show you what I'm going to do today. But this mill, this bed, I don't know what you call it, this has to be leveled so that each of these, so 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down, is on the same plane. Now I used the word level, but what I should be using is the word flat. I'm not overly concerned with whether the bed of that mill is perfectly level or not. I'm more concerned that it's perfectly flat. If there's a slight downward slope or upward slope, that's okay, and I'm talking a slight. All that means is it may tend to drift downwards on me, or I may have to push it slightly uphill. That's not as big of a deal as having a bed, a log bed, that's not perfectly flat. So I'm going to show you here today what I do in order to make it flat, so that life's a bit easier and I end up with nicer looking lumber. So let's check it out. Okay, first thing I do, I head on over to the machine here so I can grab what I need. I get some string, and this string is sold at any hardware store. It's got a bit of a stretch to it. It's good for laying out layout lines on buildings, concrete work and the like. And then I grab some blocks. And these two blocks, there's nothing in particular about them other than they have to be the same size. So when I say the same size, I mean the same thickness. These are exactly the same thickness. I don't know what they are. It looks to be about 3 inches, but you need 2 of these blocks and that string. What you're going to do is you're going to set that block on each end. So if we look here, we got one at one end, and if we look way down there, we got one at the other. These are the exact same thickness. Then I'm going to take this string, tie it onto one end, pull it tight, and tie it onto the other end. Now you're going to use your tape measure, and this one's kind of rugged, but it'll do. I need to figure out the width of that block, and it's actually not 3 inches at all. That is, if I get up nice and close, 2 and 7/8. 2 inches and 7/8 of an inch. That means when I come and measure the distance between the string and this, the string and this, string and this, all the way along, this should be 2 and 7/8 of an inch. So what do? You come along and you put your tape up just like that, and you'll notice that is 2 and 7/8, so that is good. And then you work your way down. That is a little high at 3 inches, so that means I need to drop this down by 1/8 of an inch. Now, when you drop it down, you also have to check to make sure it's level side to side. That is not well, I guess it is important, I shouldn't say that, but it's not as important, I would say, as it being flat. But nonetheless, bring out a little torpedo level, set it on its side, and figure out if it's level side to side. If it is, then lower this 1/8 of an inch by incrementally dropping the nuts. So we got one there, one there. We get under there, you got one down there, one on the other side. Drop that down half a turn. Come over here, drop it down half a turn. Half a turn, half a turn. So do it incrementally, and then come back and double check that it's 2 and 7/8. Once you get 2 and 7/8 of an inch, bingo, you're there. And then you'd come along, do the same thing here. If we look here, that one's good. That one's a little high, so we would do the same thing where it's needed. Now, one thing I'm noticing, and this is good for you to see, you got to be careful, because when I tightened that string, I didn't notice, but this block started leaning. That is definitely not what you want. You need this block to be perfectly flat on that rail so that this thickness is exactly the same as the same thickness down there. So you want to fix this up. and now it's sitting flat, and now you can go back and double check. Now, how do I check to make sure this thing is level? Well, you could break out the big long level, place it across these rails. It'll probably only stretch 2, maybe 3 if you got a big long level. Or you can use one of these. This is a string level. This is pretty inexpensive one, but it does the job. All you do here is you hook it onto the string line. Cut my finger there. Oh, get on there. You hook it onto the string line and wait for it to stop bouncing. And you'll notice here, if it ever stops, throughout the year it looks like it started to slope, so it's sloping a little bit from left to right. That's pretty good. If this was way off, then you'd have issue. You'd have a concern, and you'd want to go back and level it and then repeat the process of measuring the distance from here to here. What's important here is that both blocks, that one and that one down there, are exactly the same thickness. If those are exactly the same thickness and your string is tight, then you can go through the process of getting the bed perfectly flat. Don't forget, you got to level side to side in addition to front to back. Using a torpedo level would be ideal for this. Using a string and a string line level would be good for this. Well, as I said in the past, it is not as important to have this thing level as it is flat. If there's a slight incline or a slight decline, you're probably going to survive, okay? But if this isn't flat, you're going to have wavy cuts, and the cutting is going to be kind of strenuous for yourself and quite possibly for the blade in the machine. So get this thing flat, then make it level, and don't forget, left to right, side to side also has to be level. If you do all those things, hopefully it works out for you guys, and if it doesn't work out, well, put something down below in the comments. I'm sure there's lots of good people, including myself, who will be happy to help you. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching from the very beginning until now. We're going to continue pushing on here as the sun sets and we make it into winter. So thanks for watching, folks, and I will see you all next time. Coda, what would you like to add? You got anything to tell the camera? No? Nothing important to tell? You usually got a lot to say. No? Okay, well, guess that's it.